What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. We're going to do a stimulus package, stimulus check, lunch break update. And we're going to play Bernie Sanders. So he was on CNN yesterday, and he was just talking about the stimulus package. And, you know, I started thinking about things, and I try to follow all the different politicians when they talk about the stimulus package. And so whether you be a Democrat or Republican, I try to follow all the different politicians. You know, I want to know what they're saying and what they think when it comes to a stimulus package. And I will have to say, when I listen to Bernie Sanders, he says the right things when it comes to another stimulus package. You have a lot of politicians that are coming on TV and talking about stimulus package and why we can't do it. We need to wait. We need to do it. He is one of the only politicians that I've heard that says we need to do something right now. We don't have time to wait. And so, you know, I anytime I see Bernie Sanders talking about stimulus checks, or stimulus package, I want to put him on because he usually has some pretty good stuff to talk about when it comes to the stimulus package. So we're going to watch his clip. I think it's probably about 5 minutes long. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. All right, so let's get right to Bernie Sanders.
Sanders of Vermont. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Senator. And you've said that Joe Biden is off to a good start. Some of your progressive colleagues want him to do more. For example, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants him to forgive student loan debt. Congresswoman Cori Bush wants bigger direct payments to Americans. Congressman Jamal Bowman called for a more progressive cabinet. Are they right?
Look, we're going to push Joe as the president as far as we can. But given the fact he's been in office for less than a week, I think he is off to a good start. What we have got to do is recognize that right now we're living in an unprecedented moment in American history. You got the pandemic, you got an economic collapse, we got climate change, we had a crumbling infrastructure. And what we have got, we have millions of people working for starvation wages. And what we have got to do is roll up our sleeves and fight for the agenda that working people throughout this country want. They want to raise that minimum wage to $15 an hour. They want that direct payment of $1,400 on top of the $600. We've got to do that. They understand that during the midst of the healthcare crisis, we cannot have millions of people being thrown out of their houses or lack healthcare. So we have an enormous amount of work. Then you throw in impeachment, you throw in the need to get Biden's nominees confirmed. It's a lot of work that has to be done, and we're going to roll up our sleeves and do it.
So the senators, they're going to be really busy if they really try to address all these things. I have a feeling you're going to have some Republican senators that are just going to be, you know, this is too much. We can't do all this. You already have some Republican senators that don't want to move forward with an impeachment trial. So they don't want to move forward with the impeachment trial. Maybe they'll do the cabinet nominations or the confirmations, but some of them aren't going to want to do a stimulus package. So they're going to be trying to get out of all this stuff. And Bernie Sanders is saying, no, we need to roll up our sleeves and get to work. But some of them they're going to be waiting for that next recess, basically.
Suggested that Democrats might need to use a process called reconciliation, which requires only 51 votes instead of the 60 to pass the coronavirus relief plan. You just heard Mitt Romney say that Republicans like him have shown that they are ready to compromise. So should Democrats move to pass coronavirus relief with 51 votes if they can't get Republican support, say, before the impeachment trial?
Well, I don't know what the word compromise means. I know.
No, that was a good response. Now, if you want to catch Mitt Romney, I did post that video earlier today, so you can check it out. It's right up. You guys can't see, but it's right up there. But that's interesting. What compromise? What does that mean? What exactly does compromise mean? And it can mean different things for different people, right? You could think you're compromising, but the other person looks at it and says they're not compromising at all. So that's interesting how he responded to that question.
Oh, that working families are living today in more economic desperation than since the Great Depression. And if Republicans are willing to work with us to address that crisis, welcome, let's do it. But what we cannot do is wait weeks and weeks and months to go forward. We have got to act now. That is what the American people want. Now, as you know, reconciliation, which is a Senate rule, was used by the Republicans under Trump to pass massive tax breaks for the rich and large corporations. It was used as an attempt to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And what we are saying is, you use it for that, that's fine. We're going to use reconciliation, that is 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president, to pass legislation desperately needed by working families in this country right now. You did it, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it to protect ordinary people, not just the rich and the powerful.
And what's your timeline on that?
As soon as we possibly can. Look, Donna, I know these are crazy times. We've got a new president in. We're dealing with the horrors of this pandemic, which also have got to be addressed immediately. We have not done a good job in producing the amount of vaccine that we need and certainly getting it into the arms of people.
Do you want it done before the impeachment trial starts?
We got to do everything. I mean, this is not, you don't have the time to sit around, weeks on impeachment and not get vaccines into the arms of people. You don't have time to worry about vaccines and not deal with the fact that children in America are going hungry. We got to break through this old approach that the Senate takes years and years to do anything. We got a crisis right now. We can chew bubble gum and walk at the same time. The American people are hurting, and they want us to act. That's what our candidates ran for in this election. That's what the guys in Georgia won on. And we have got to reaffirm the faith of the American people in government that we can respond to their pain.
You mentioned that Republicans have used the so-called reconciliation process before, like in 2017, to try to kill Obamacare. You accused them of abusing the process back then. You said, quote, the function of reconciliation is to adjust federal spending and revenue, not to enact major changes in policy. But you alluded to this. You are the chairman of the Budget Committee, or going to be. You are already talking about using this tactic for things like paid family and medical leave, for universal pre-K and childcare, for climate change, tuition-free college, eliminating student debt, and the $15 minimum wage. How is that not what you criticize Republicans for doing?
Well, the devil is in the details of what we want to do and when we want to do it and when we have to do it. What we are talking about, by the way, are two separate reconciliation packages. Number one, the emergency one right now.
Right.
Get direct checks, get those checks into people's pockets right now so they can feed their families. And make sure that people are not evicted from their homes. Make sure that states have the funds they need to get vaccines into people's arms. That's what we've got to do right now. And then as soon as that is done, we have to rebuild this economy. Unemployment is much, much too high. Wages are much, much too low. There are structural problems that we have ignored for years. Climate change is a reality.
And you're okay doing all of that through this process that you criticize Republicans for using? These are major policy changes.
These are major policy changes, but the devil is in the details. And I criticize Republicans, for using reconciliation to give tax breaks to billionaires, to create a situation where large profitable corporations now pay zero in federal income taxes. Yes, I did criticize them for that. And if they want to criticize me for helping to feed children who are hungry, or senior citizens in this country who are isolated and alone and don't have enough food, they can criticize me. I think it's the appropriate step forward.
If Democrats don't pass these sweeping changes you're talking about, do you think that they will lose control of the House and Senate in 2022?
That's what history tells us. What history tells us is that when Clinton won in 92, 2 years later, the Democrats didn't do as much as they should have. They got swept out by the Republicans. Obama won in 2008, 2010. Republicans decimated them at the polling booths. Look, Donna, this is not complicated stuff. We're in an unprecedented moment in American history. Tens of millions of people are hurting. People are watching this program, do not have food in their cupboards to feed their kids. They are sick. They cannot afford to go to the doctor. They cannot afford the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs. They're worried about climate change and what that will mean for their kids and future generations. That is where we are right now. And the American people say, we elected you guys. Do something. Improve our lives. We are in pain. We are hurting. That's in red states, Republican states. It is in Democratic states. It is in rural America. It is in urban America. It is black, white, Latino, Native American, Asian American. This is a country that is in pain right now. And if Democrats, who have slim majorities in the House and the Senate, we got President Biden in the White House, if we do not respond now, yes, I believe 2 years from now, the Republicans will say, hey, you elected these guys. They did nothing. Vote for us, and they will win.
Wow. So that was Bernie Sanders. And so you heard that last part there. I mean, that's what's on the line here. if Democrats can't do anything, if they can't get anything done, then Republicans will take over. They'll take over the House, they'll take over the Senate, and then 2 years, I mean, we're looking at 2 years from now. We're not even talking 4 years. 2 years from now, they'll take over the House and the Senate, and then 4 years from now, they can take over the White House. And so it's very interesting, and that's what happened. That's actually what happened 4 years ago. The House was taken over by the Democrats because it was run by the Republicans the first 2 years of Trump's administration. It was taken over by the Democrats. And then 4 years later, the Senate is now controlled by the Democrats and the White House is controlled by the Democrats. So you have to do something when you're in office. So there's a lot on the line when it comes down to getting this to work during a pandemic, getting the stimulus package out there, getting the vaccine in people's arms. So we'll have to see where that goes. But I want to know what you guys think. So in the comment section, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.